What's going on, world? It's the Neighborhood Diamond, Bryce Savoy, and I'm here with Breakthru TV. We breaking down my latest project, Neighborhood Diamonds. Fuck with us.
What's on my brain, huh? They wanna know how I deal with all the pain, huh? Well, let me tell you, I know this blessed, but all the while I can't focus.
So I'm Bryce Savoy from East Oakland, California.
We came too far to still be going through this mess.
So I recorded my first song in 2003. Shout out my uncle, rest in peace, G-Nut. He was in a Bay Area rap group, 187 Fact, Dingy. He did a lot with Spice One, who's a Bay Area legend. And so I always grew up, just in the environment, in the industry per se as a kid, not really knowing too much. But once I got older and kind of like had an understanding of what was going on, me and my cousin, shout out my big cousin G Molly, his son, we worked together. We would, it started as simple as being downstairs and, we lived together and started on karaoke machines and recording on that, man. And so from there, that transitioned to, like I said, 2003 when I turned 11. For my 11th birthday, Unc put me in the studio. And that was like my first time, I want to say that, I saw what I could do, Fast forward to maybe 5-6 years later, I was always in school hooping, and so music was more of a hobby. I think I took it seriously once I entered Howard University 2010. That was like when I first took it serious.
Your shit is past due.
It was really, man, just being surrounded by so much black talent. Like, Howard University is called the Mecca, and that's for a reason. And so just stepping on campus, there were artists from all walks of life, all different cities that really took the music stuff serious at the time. And so that made me want to take it seriously and kind of see it, that as something that I could do and something different that I could bring to the game. Being from Oakland, California, and having such of a unique story, I feel like I had that kind of had a revelation, and it made me want to start taking it seriously after, stepping foot on campus.
Independence, I'm the boss, gotta fucking feel me.
It's funny, bro, because I get asked that question a lot, and just in, doing interviews and talking to people. And I can't really say that I recall too many rap artists that I drew inspiration from, like on a day-to-day basis, I want to say. Growing up, everybody was listening to Lil Wayne heavy. That was like my favorite rapper at that point in time. And so I think he was like maybe one person I can point to say that, that was somebody I drew inspiration from. But also, as I got older and becoming a teenager and growing up in the midst of like the hyphy movement at its prime, I think, just in general, like the energy alone kind of rubbed up on me to an extent. But I think musically I always drew inspiration from like R&B stuff. A lot of stuff that my father both, grew up listening to. I would hear as a young kid. And as I got older, I feel like a lot of my stuff is in one way or not kind of inspired by that. I think one thing about R&B that kind of makes it different than hip hop is just the emotion and the passion in which people sing and really pour their heart out. It's different when you actually singing it than you rapping it. And so I think for me that was something that I drew up on just off rip, and just like the timelessness of a lot of the stuff that I grew up on. It kind of shaped my process of creating music, I would say.
It ain't nothing really, swear to God.
Man, it's been tough, but it's been rewarding, bro. Like just to be able to see the fruits of my labor in real time. Like I've been doing this for almost 20 years, and I feel like I'm just now getting to that point of seeing all my work, like a culmination of my work. That 10,000 hours that people talk about a lot. Really seeing that come to fruition. Being able to like put together my own tour, self-funded. Even doing all the logistical stuff of actually reaching out and talking to venues, corresponding with talent buyers, like all of this stuff that you always hear growing up and always thought that it may be far-fetched. At least I know I did. Me being able to kind of like do that and see it be successful and see it work and see other people adopting that same mentality that's all the recognition, that's all the reward for me that I need. And that's really what this independence movement, but more so mindset, is all about. Just the ability to do stuff on your own terms, not waiting for anybody to give you validation, and just being able to like really fully 100% wholeheartedly believe in yourself and kind of see shit shape out the way that you envision it to. So that's like what I I'm about 24/7. Obviously, I speak about it a lot. Nipsey Hussle was a major influence on that, and so having artists like him paved the way helped a lot. But that's where I come from, man. Like the home of the independent grind. Like we've never asked anybody else for anything. We always found ways to do it on our own terms, not compromising our integrity, our creative control, none of that stuff. And so, just by nature, just by DNA, that's in me, and I'm just thankful to be one of those people that's at the forefront of that. I would say, just find your purpose. You know, I know that may sound vague in a sense. It's like, okay, well, how do you go about that? I know for me, getting closer to God helped that. Like that's really what made me finding my purpose easier. I just was able to think clearer, see clearer, and kind of be led by the Spirit. And so I think once I found that, everything else came full circle. Like before, like I said, I've always done music, but I think for the longest I was always trying to create a persona, right? Because that's what hip hop, rap has kind of been based on, is just people building personas outside of themselves. And so when I just went with what I knew, went with myself and who I am, you know, where I come from, and realized that nobody can tell my story the way that I can, or better than me, rather. Like nobody can do what I can do. It just made everything that much easier. So that's kind of the advice that I would give to anybody, you know, because, you know, this world, and especially the hip hop industry, especially where we're at with just social media and instant validation, I feel like so many of us, so many young artists that are coming out of the gate, or maybe just starting, feel like they have to get it right on the first try. And if you don't get it right, you know, you get the people, you know, clowning you, or in the comments talking about you, shit like that. But I came at it, I was blessed to come at a time where there was none of that. Like everybody was trying to make it happen, but everybody was learning, you know, and everybody was okay with letting their process be seen with the in front of the world. Like everybody being able to see in real time what you're going through. And that's, I think for me, that's like the biggest blessing, is to have, to people that's known me when I started doing music in, you know, 2003, and still with me to now, they can see the progression, they can see the growth. And so I would say just finding your purpose, but also letting the world be involved with your process.
Yeah, I can't hit them with that replay shit.
Yeah, man. To make a long story short, Neighborhood Diamonds is another community that I created, just based off of letting your light shine for the world to see. I look at my life and kind of just think back on a lot of the stuff, a lot of the people that I've connected with, musically or just personally, and I learned that a distinguishing quality that everybody for the most part has, is that they have that innate ability to let their light shine for the world to see. But for some reason they may not get the big recognition, or the mainstream looks, or whatever people look at when they think of somebody who's on or successful. They may not get those same opportunities and looks, but they have those same qualities. And so I see something in all of these people, and they see that same thing in me. And so I'm thinking, like, why not build something around that? You know, I'm all about being intentional and empowering and uplifting, and being a vessel of inspiration. And so with Neighborhood Diamonds, it was important to create a foundation, a movement first, and then let the music or whatever you see artistically be the soundtrack to that. And so this is what that is. It's a culmination of 4 or 5 years on the ground, building that community of people who, you know, are trying to let their light shine for the world to see. And I feel like me providing this opportunity, or me providing this platform, gives them that. And so the Neighborhood Diamonds, the name kind of started with the brand, and then the music followed, and then really just the process of this. This was the first time that I actually 70% of the project I recorded and mixed in my apartment, and this is the first time I ever mixed my own work. And so during quarantine, you got to think, I was right before quarantine hit. I was on a high of just, you know, about to complete my tour. The last city was supposed to be my birthday in LA, March 13th, and I was literally at the peak when all this COVID shit hit, and nobody had no clue what was going on. So it was like, for a month, I had to really think and pivot, like, what's next? Like, you know, I experienced this high where I feel like I'm about to reach that next plateau, and then everything kind of gets knocked down with COVID. And so I think initially it was a weeks of just me, you know, searching and trying to figure out what was next. And then this came about like, I think it's time to really brand the diamonds. That's something that, that people know me as. Just the diamonds emoji started with that, something simple as that. And I've been doing it consistently for 5-6 years now. So people are representing, as brand recognition, they're associating the diamonds with that. And so being able to put that energy, all of this stuff that I just discussed, that's the energy that this project was created upon. It's just, again, it's independence, it's neighborhood diamonds, it's letting your light shine for the world to see and not taking no for an answer. So that's what this project is kind of based on.
Or that be patient when he anxious.
Yeah, I'm the type of person, at this point, I've quite frankly been through every emotion that you can experience in life. Death, heartbreak, being broke, extreme happiness, everything. And so I say that to say, like, it's never going to be an obstacle that I won't push through. With this project specifically, I think the hardest obstacle was learning. It was a learning curve. I never mixed myself before. And so, I fell on the advice of YouTube. My engineer, shout out Sky, thank you, was man, extremely helpful in just walking me through everything. And so I think the more that I was able to hear myself and not only, like, obviously be okay with how I sounded, but being able to listen to it in all different mediums, whether it's in the car, on my bike, in my crib with the monitors playing, and see that I'm getting that sound that I'm used to, I'm accustomed to listening to, and just being getting stuff professionally mixed. It gave me the confidence to kind of keep going and keep pushing through. And it was like, shit, that was, as I started doing it more and more, it's like that's a part of the story, right? If I'm saying that I'm independence and this is what I'm championing, what better way can I show it than being able to be that hands-on with my music? And I've always been hands-on, but to record it and then to mix it, that's a whole different process. I'm not gonna lie, it took literally everything that I had out of me. Like, that shit was like, when I submitted it and sent it off to the DSPs, I was like, fuck, I'm happy this shit is over, because it was a lot of hard work, a lot of sleepless nights, a lot of times where I would mix a song fucking 100 times just to get the 808 or the snare or a certain sound to be in pocket, or to sound the way that I wanted it to. And so all of that kind of just added to the story for me, and once I understood that, it all made sense. So I don't even look at it as something that was difficult. It was something that it was a necessary evil to make my dreams come true.
Broke in the bitch, mind thinking on strips. Time feels so condensed.
So musically, I say the progression has been just trying new things, I guess, or trying to find different ways to say stuff, being creative with how I lay out a track, from the hook to the verse. Like, my process is usually like, I'll hear a beat, and it's actually dangerous, and it's kind of crazy that I'm saying this, but I write most of my raps when I'm actually driving. I don't know why, something about just being in the car, listening to the music, driving around, LA, all the damn scenery and shit, it just makes for a realer form of expression. So I write all my music mostly like, driving, at least the rough ideas. And so for this project, I think the main thing that I did that I haven't done in the past is just going with whatever comes first. Like, whatever idea came first to mind when I heard the beat, I would expand upon that. Of course, I'm gonna make sure that it's something that's to the standard that I hold myself to, but just getting out of my own way and overthinking it. I would say that that's the difference between Bryce, Savoy 2 and Neighborhood Diamonds. It was all just free. It was all just fun, pure energy. Everything that you heard is just a direct representation of what I felt at that moment. And then I think in terms of personal growth, I think it just, again, that's something that I'm big on. Like, in order for me to deliver the type of music or the body of works that I know I'm capable of, I have to be always growing and being the best version of myself at that particular point in time. And so I feel like in the time when I dropped Bryce Savoy 2 to Neighborhood Diamonds, I was growing, man. I really was recently. I had just started therapy as well, and that shit helped a lot, man. Just kind of being able to, you know, have somebody that has no emotional attachment to me, kind of just hear me out, not judging, and being able to provide alternative perspectives of dealing and going through, navigating through life, really helped me a lot. So I put that confidence, I put that energy into the project as well, and so all of these things is what you're getting when you listen to it. And I feel like anybody who's listened to Bryce Savoy 2 and listen to the project now can attest to that. Timeless. No, but it's a great body of work, man. I always I do my research on the game, and I always listen to classic artists, classic albums, Tupac, the Biggies, the Outkast, the UGKs, Tribe Called Quest, the Nas's, all of the heavyweights in terms of just artistry, but also putting together a cohesive body of work. And so I look with all my like full length projects or project in general, I always try to make the most cohesive body of work as possible. So I look at each song as its own individual thing. And I think for anybody that listening to this can get that they can see that from top to bottom, from songs 1 to 10, it's seamless. It's no drop off, there's no skips, and then all of the songs have samples. So you know, anybody that's familiar with, you know, real music, it's something in there for you that can tie you back to your childhood or to some nostalgic moment that'll allow you to kind of continue to listen to it. And then, you know, most importantly, the subject matter of it, man, really inspirational, really 10 toes down, really just preaching things that I feel like everybody wants, whether they know it or not. Ownership, independence, self-growth, knowing your worth, and just pushing past the world's limitations on you. And so I look at shit like that, man. Like, I'm an artist that prides myself on doing shit the right way. I always look at myself as a major artist, whatever that, you know, whoever's watching this, whatever that means to you. That's how I look at myself, and that's how I carry myself. That's how I conduct myself. So that's the approach that I gave with this project. And it's just the beginning. Like, I got so much stuff in the works. Like, it ain't even. This is just a start. Even though I've had plenty of start, this is just that culmination of that. This is my first full length project. I've always done EPs, and you know, back when mixtape were a thing, I would always do mixtapes and stuff where it was somebody else's beats. But this is the first time all original music. Shout out AJ, shout out T Wallace, shout out Daydream, who all contributed to the project, man. And just it's me, man. It's community, it's black, but most importantly, it's Oakland, and that's what I do a lot of this shit for. I think that it changes though, honestly. Like, some days I would say it's probably no lacking. Shout out my boy BA from Chi-Town. But that was probably my favorite one, just because it's different than what people have known me to create and to make. And just the energy on it is very infectious. That's something that you could play right now, and no matter if you've ever heard a song from me or not, you're gonna fuck with it, you're gonna vibe to it. So that, I would say, just that, but on some, you know, deeper cut, meaning behind, more, you know, deeper meaning behind it, I would have to go with probably Black Steel. It's featuring my boy Bell from South Central, and then my cousin G Molly, who I've been doing this shit with ever since I started. And so just to put that record together it was special in itself. And it was like a full circle moment of just me, you know, forming that relationship with Bell, and then Molly. Obviously, I'd always make sure I put him on the project and what I do. So I think those are the two main ones. But honestly, and then lastly, I would have to go with Neighborhood Diamonds. That's the title track, first track on the project. Just the energy alone. Shout out T Wallace, because he sent me the beat, and it was just like shit came to me instantly. Like, it was that was like, I want to say that probably was the first. Yeah, that was the first song that I recorded off the project. So as soon as he sent me that beat, it's so smooth and shit that I've always loved, but I haven't always been able to do and release. And so it was just great for me to kind of get on that and really just talk my shit a little bit, you know, let people know who I am and where I come from and what I stand for. And it's something that is easy to listen to. So I would have to probably go with those 3. But I'm gonna say all 10 of them is them ones in their own right.
Of course.
Yeah.
Then focus on your profit, 'cause for the night
Man, I want to say, and I can't say thank you enough, to all the people who supported my independence thus far. Whether you've liked something, whether you shared something, whether you commented on something, whether you purchased something, whether you listened, whether you watched. Like, I'm one of those people. Like, fuck being an artist, fuck being a rapper. It's like, I'm a individual. I'm a human being, and I have a heart, and I know that my music is or just what I do is bigger than music. I'm living with a purpose each and every day. So for people to gravitate towards that and to really genuinely show love based off of the grind and all the work that I put in throughout the years, it's like, there's no words that can really express that, and it's always a gratifying feeling when you create something, you have an idea, something comes to you, you bring it to life, and then people gravitate towards it in the manner in which you hope for it to be intended to. Because to be honest, we do this music shit. It's not always, nobody can say 100% for sure that they know when they put out something that it's gonna be that one or whatever that is. But the constant consistency that comes with me continuing to just build and continuing to just put out content, and getting better with each release and each drop, and have people support me and gain more of a community from that. That's what I do it for, bro. And so anybody who watching this that knows they support me, and whether I know you, whether I've spoken to you or not, it's like, I appreciate y'all and I love y'all for that, because without y'all, I wouldn't be doing it in the manner in which I'm doing it, because you guys give me that motivation and that inspiration in times where I may not feel like doing it, to keep going and knowing that it is touching somebody, whether it's one person or 1,000 people. That's what I do it for. Thank y'all.
Neighborhood diamonds. Represent diamonds in the rough for a while.